Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Estancia, Lapacho here in Paraguay. I'm just going to go up and empty out this combine here. And we're going to set the combine going in the last little field down the bottom. And then when we've done that, we can go and finish turning that hay. Then we'll get it raked up. And then finally, we will get the baler on. And we will go and bale it all up. And then well, I say finally, we'll get the baler on. We'll bale it all up, then we'll gather the bales up and we'll run them up to the sheep and we'll put them in for the sheep and everybody will be happy and everything will be tickety-boo. We will have done everything that we want to do then on the map. At the moment, what I have done, as I promised, I've gone and filled these up and I've actually misjudged it a little bit with the pigs. They need far more than I realised. They need a lot more than I realised, mainly because the next animal is every 30 minutes. So we'll go through, I think didn't we have 200 pigs? I can't remember now. Maybe it's 250. We'll sell a few pigs so that we can get some money from them. I put these up to... I put the grass to 50,000 and the straw to 50,000. I put hay and... I put silage up to 100,000. And I put power food up to 100,000 as well. The cows need an absolutely obscene amount of food in there to keep them completely topped up. The only thing that is topped up is the water. That's the only one that is completely topped up. I could have put a lot more in there. I didn't actually realise because when you change the numbers, it doesn't give you a percentage. You've on the XML file, you've only got it takes a while. You've got to sort of search quite a while in order to be able to find the right place for it. And then once you've searched down through and you've found the right spot for it, it's just the actual numbers. There's no percentages. There's no indication of how much you've got to change. It's just that little bit. So you are kind of guessing a little bit. You do have to guess in order to get it right. But I mean, it generally it does work out all right. Now then, our plan this week is to finish doing the combining. We've just got the barley to do here. And we've got corn to finish off over there. That's not going to take very much longer. I've got the hay to finish so that I can go and feed the sheep that we've got on the map. And then we can say that we've done sheep on the map. That's one thing that I wanted to do. And then once we've done that, I'm just going to look here and I'm going to change the straw chopper. You can't actually see anything for changing the straw chopper on this one. Bring that one back round here. We're going to come into this field from this point right here. At least that's what I'm hoping. Now, if I go to Control H, and this one, we're going to go for the AI vehicle extension like that. And also, in order to make sure that this works all right, wait during unload. I'll make sure that one is on. And I will turn the turn angle up to 100% so he goes round sharper corners without coming out and backing round. Other than that, he should be all right. So let's let him go into the field a minute and just make sure that we are leaving straw behind. That's the one thing that yes, he is leaving straw behind. Excellent. Detect the field. 16 hectares this one is. And he's away. Now, I was wondering where I should put the barley, because we could either just store it in our normal farm, or we could take it over there. And I think we've got a courseplay course set and loaded so that we can take it over. Well, not loaded, but set. We do have one saved that we could take it over to that silo over there with the barley. And then it'll be ready to take up to the pigs as and when they want it. I'm thinking that might be the better option. So we'll see if we can do that. And I'll get this one here. We just need to run it down and empty it out. And then we can see what courses we've got loaded. Because there are several different courses that we've got. I know one of them is the big field that we've got there. So we should be able to use that one. At least that's what I'm hoping. We'll find out in a minute. We'll go and tip this one first. Once we have taken the bales that we make off of this field here up to the sheep, our next task after that is going to be we will start fast forwarding time while the harvest is just finishing off so that we can get started on harvesting the potatoes up there on the plateau up top. And then when the potatoes are harvested, the last job that we've got to do is quickly replant the plateau up there with wheat, and then we will do a full harvest over there with wheat and just bring it just down here and tip it into this silo down here. And then the very last job, so I was hoping to finish up this week, but it doesn't look like we're going to, so we should hopefully finish by the end of next week, and then we'll be moving on to Under the Hill. the one final job that I will do, the final episode that I do on this map, at least that's the plan, is to try and cut down that tree. I won't save that bit. That bit we'll just save from the day before so that you can have the save game file without that tree being removed. But a lot of people want me to see if I can remove that tree. So that is something that I would like to attempt. Now that one is coming around there, and he might go around that corner actually. It does depend. It depends on... No, he's not going to. He's already decided he's not going to do that one. Now, for me, what I want to do is I want to clear current course, like that. And then I want to go... No, not that one. No. Drive settings. No. Courses. Right, we got big field right there. Big field train. That's the two. So we got one is the big field, which just takes the corn back over this way, over this side. And then the other one is one that takes it over to the train silo. And we've got barley here, so that's the one that we want right there. So load course there, big field train. Then I will go here and I will go combine and I will search for the 9490X, which is the one that we're going to use. And then we're going to go to this one and I'm going to go drive course. Why aren't you driving course? He is driving course. Drive behind combine. Found out where he was. I don't remember where the start of the course is for this one. I think it might be over the other side of the field. I have absolutely no idea at this point. So we're just going to watch this one and see if he will catch up with the combine. I'm curious to see how well it's going to do using the AI vehicle extension for this. Whether it's going to like get hung up on the... Because he's coming up behind him now. Is he going to get hung up on the corner or not? No, he's not. The combine is just going to stop there. So, yeah, somebody did say to me that when Courseplay is running, the Courseplay does actually control the combine a little bit. So it's sent out a command to say to the combine to stop, even though the combine's telling him to stop, when in actual fact he's controlling the combine. It sort of works like that. So as soon as that one is emptied out, I'll make sure this one turns round, and then we can get back to making our hay. Right, we're turning round this way. Helper L is blocked by an object, and... What are you doing? You know, that doesn't seem quite right. So let me just stop the driver a second. Now, that combine will now carry on doing what it's supposed to do while I get out from under this tree, I hope. Yes. Right, I've got out from under the tree. It's the first disaster averted. And then we can bring this one around this way. And I'm going to bring it forward a little bit. Oh, there's the course. Goes right into the middle of the field. That's a little bit inconvenient having it stuck right in the middle of the field. If I bring this, I'll bring this one on up a little bit further like that. And I'll stop there. And I'll see if I can get this one to work now. Where's there? Right, drive course. He should, in theory, waiting until field level is reached, so he's just going to stop there. Hopefully, he's not going to cause any problems. Right, we'll leave that one to go. Before we start there, let's just go and check on our other combine and make sure that one is working well. 13,700 in there. The combine should be down. Yep, there it is. And 4,800 in that one. That one's doing just fine. Okay, as soon as that one's finished, we'll be setting that one going with the AI vehicle extension on that field right there. Oh no, we got one more field to harvest. Another field of beans. I completely forgot about field 12. We'll come back for field 12. We'll deal with that one later. We're not going to worry about it right now. How are you doing over here? You're going to come up to this corner and then... Right. No problems turning. That one seems to be doing just fine. So let's go back to this one. I was doing this at the end of the last episode. Attach PTO. The PTO is already attached. Apparently it's not already attached. It was already attached. Quite sure why he took the PTO off. Lift that one up. Right, it doesn't want to start. I'm not sure why. Let me unhitch the thing entirely and then hitch it back on again. And this manual attaching mod is causing some issues sometimes. Still not starting. I'm pressing B for start. If you look here, fold tether, lift tether. It doesn't even have an option to start it at the moment. Let me go out of here a second and unhitch that one. Now what's it saying? Still no option to start it. We hitch that back on. Right, yeah, that is hitched on. Okay, let's try folding this thing up and then see what it does. This is the manual attaching mod. I won't be using this. After this series, I'm calling it a day with the manual attaching mod because it seems to cause more problems than anything else. And I like the idea of it, and I do like this sort of nod towards realism, and we always try to do things reasonably realistic on this series. But you know, when it's causing this many problems, I think it eliminates anything. It eliminates the realism and then starts to kind of spoil the effect a little bit. So we're going to stop doing this after this episode. It's absolutely not having it at all. If I turn it a bit, no. Missing something in XML. Okay, I've no idea what it's missing. Detach that one. I'm going to see if using a different tractor will do it. Maybe that will do it. It said missing something in the XML. Shouldn't be anything missing. I don't know why I've got like a graphical glitch coming through there. I didn't change anything when I altered stuff. I didn't change anything other than the quantity of food in for the cows. So there shouldn't really be any serious issues going on here. Let's start that one up. Hopefully if I go and hitch this one on, I will have the all the necessary bits that we want for being able to start this turner up. If not, well, I've got two options. I can either exit the game, I can fold the machine up and sort of leave it folded. I can exit the game and remove the manual attaching mod altogether, or I can do it differently. Right, we've hitched that one on and stop engine. Well, now it works. Okay, let's get rid of that. It was a little unfortunate, and it's the manual attaching mod. It does these strange things from time to time. So, definitely. What are you doing? Well, I'm not quite sure what is going on with that one. I can bring that round there. I suspect that is just because of the uneven ground. It would make sense that the uneven ground would make it do some peculiar things, although that did seem to be a little excessively peculiar, and I'm not quite sure if that is, again, the manual attaching thing, or if there's something else that's causing that. Well, I've got no idea what would have caused it to do that. It makes no sense at all. It's quite likely it was uneven ground that's causing it to sort of whip round like, yeah, I think... Okay, that is very, very that is really bizarre. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Yeah, I've done a lot of work with this particular hay turner. Although I haven't really done, most of the stuff that I've done using this hay turner hasn't been with the manual attaching mod. It's been when I've been doing the time-lapse series. I use this one all the time in the time-lapse series, but I don't have the manual attaching mod. And I reckon that even this bizarre behavior is something to do with that manual attaching thing. I reckon that is like the root cause of these issues, because it wasn't like, although I don't think it's all down to that. I don't think we can blame all of it on that. I think some of it is, well, I'm not actually sure. At the moment, I can't quite decide what would be causing it. It seems to be behaving like the wheels aren't locked in position. It seems to be like acting as though the wheels on here are like freewheeling. They're able to just move around freely. Whereas, I mean, we know that they're not able to move around freely, but that seems to be what the game is currently treating it like. And I guess that would kind of make sense. But yeah, it's a very strange thing. That is very bizarre. I'm really absolutely not sure what that was all about. But anyway, we'll switch this one off and we'll lift it up and we can fold it. Here we go. You may have noticed from my voice that I still have a cold and a slight sore throat as well. So probably is going to have to be most of this week that I just trim the episodes down a little bit. I mean, most of my episodes these days end up being anywhere from 40 minutes up to an hour long. And I do think that I need to sort of come back a bit from doing hour-long episodes. I don't think that I need to be doing episodes quite that long in order to, so that I don't sort of overdo it on things. I think those episodes are a little bit too long. So I really am trying to aim these days to bring my episodes down to around about 40 minutes each anyway. And I need to be a little bit more on the ball for that this week so that I can rest my voice a bit so that I don't accidentally, wear my voice out completely. If I wear my voice out completely, I'm then going to be in a position where I can't do episodes properly and I'll have to take a few days off, which I really, really don't want to do. I've taken a few days off a little while ago, and I really don't want to be doing that again. Now, this one here is for some strange reason drifted backwards into the wall. I'm not quite sure why it decided to drift backwards into the wall, but it did. Never mind. It's absolutely fine. We're just going to come out here a second, and before we start doing any raking or anything, I'm going to go quickly, and we're going to check on our combines. This one here has 5 tons on board. Where is... Oh, there's the Challenger. That one worked fine this time. It's 28... Why is it not emptying? Right, if I go to here, and I want to go into options... refill, no. Driver settings... here we go. Right, drive on at 90. I would drive on at 80%. That's what decides going to the silo to empty out, isn't it? So start at 50%. That's when the combine reaches 50%, I think. I think that one is. But the drive on is when it goes to start driving the actual course in order to go and empty the grain. And if we do that, if we set that to 80% rather than 90, it should just keep things running a little bit more smoothly. So that this one now will drive this course. It's going to come down here. Where is the start of this course? Somewhere down... Oh, there it is. It's right in front of us. He'll come down here to start the course, and then he's going to go whizzing off over there to empty it out by the train. Now where's he going? Come around this way. Going up through there. I don't remember where the stop point is for this course. I can't remember where I left it to stop. Oh, it's over there. Right, so yeah, he'll come back into the field and he'll go to that point there and then he'll stop. But he's going to go off and he's going to go and empty out. So that one's doing just fine. We don't need to worry about it. And then we can come over to the next one. He is unloading this one. He's already come back to the combine and is unloading. Should just stay there without doing anything, so we don't need to worry about that one either. Absolutely fine. And we want this one right here. Okay, so we're going to start raking this up, and then we should be able to bale it. Yeah, I pressed B at the same time as V. Now, I've been told by some people that what I should be doing is not doing any of the outside rounds when I rake, and then just, start doing the land work first. Whereas I always did it where I would do one round around the outside, then do the land work, and then do the second round around the outside. With a rake this size, you don't generally need 3 passes around the outside. Sometimes you might, in which case you'd leave it a bit more. And if you had a smaller rake, yes, you'd probably do 3 times around the edge rather than twice. But generally, if we just come over this way, yeah, generally, I think with the one this size, twice around the outside is more than enough. You don't actually need any more than that. Because, I mean, really, the only reasons to go around the edge is just so you've got room to turn when you're doing the rest of it. And, like, the most efficient way of, like, raking or working a field at all is straight lines. If you can get straight lines up the field, I mean, not always dead straight lines. If you've got, like, a long curve field, in this game, the best way is straight lines. But if you've got a long curve field, then straight lines, you just basically just lines that run parallel with the side of the field so that you can get big long passes on it. That's like the most efficient way to work field. And so all you're doing with the outside edges is just giving yourself enough room to turn on the headlands. That's it. That's the only reason, is so that you've got enough room to be able to turn on the headlands with your machines before you start going back up the next straight pass across the field, or the next line across the field. However you're going to do it, the next contour line or the next straight pass, or whichever it might be. So what I'll generally do is I do one pass like this. Now we've got this little sort of bit up here, which is a little bit odd. So we'll bring that one to there. And I'll lift those two up. Now the reason that I'm lifting that up like that and stopping it, I stop it in the game because it doesn't quite lift the rake high enough, so that when you do go... Helper D has completed their task. Who has completed their task? Let's have a look. Someone has completed a task, and I don't want them to. You are emptying out. You're fine. It must be the other combine that has completed their task. Helper D. Helper D. Where are you, Helper D? Well, who was Helper... Maybe I accidentally pressed... Did I press H by mistake? I could well have done. I think maybe I pressed H by mistake with this one. Right, anyway. So, yeah, in real life, you would just leave the rake running while you... as you turned round, but I always switch it off in game because it does occasionally touch the rows, and it is a bit of a nuisance when it does that. So, I'll bring it to about here, and then we will start up across the field. You try to keep your rake full, if you can. It's not all... It doesn't always work perfect. I like using the GPS mod for this, actually. It does work quite well for doing raking. I'm not going to set the GPS going today, but it does usually work. It's quite an effective tool, really. And I do tend to use it quite a bit in the time-lapse, especially when I'm doing jobs for other farmers. That GPS is absolutely brilliant. It's also really good when you're doing mowing any grass work on land that hasn't been ploughed, so you can't use the hired help on it. It works really well using the GPS instead, because you do have to stay with it. You can't sort of just leave it going like you can with hired help. But the GPS does keep nice straight lines, it keeps everything full, and it sort of works through really well. The only thing you can't have with GPS, the same with the hired help, is you can't have curves around the fields. You can with the AI vehicle extension. It works reasonably well, the AI vehicle extension, but it's quite slow when it's turning the corners, which is why I don't generally use it for tractor work, because of the time it takes in order to get round all the corners. So I'm going to bring that one to about there, and we go back up across. And yes, I'm sort of right up against the side on here. What I generally do is I'll pick a side of the field, and I will work that way all the way across, just leaving a gap at the ends, and probably the other side as well. And then we'll go and do one final pass, which three sides of the field you'll do, and that will make it up. So then you end up with 2 outside rounds and the rest of it as well. So we bring this one over here like this, and that's far enough. Bring it round. Now this is the point where I'm... Ooh. That was pretty close to the fence, that was. That was extremely tight to the fence. This one in a little bit, just to try and... I'm cutting in on the corner a little bit, just to try and straighten that curve just a little bit, to make life a little bit easier for us as we get further across the field. It might also make life easier for us when we're doing the baling. When you're running with windrows, straight lines are so much easier to deal with than wavy lines, because you've got to sort of wiggle backwards and forwards, and also windrows tend to go a little bit wider on the point where you're turning the corner, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for when you're doing any job like the baling or picking up with a... Right, see, this here, I've gone too far. I need to just back up a little bit so that I can make sure that I get all of the... That was probably too far. You sort of got to keep in mind when you're going back around just how far into the field it's going to go. I mean, I know I'm sort of telling you this like you've never done this job before, and I imagine most of you who are watching have done this job in game, certainly, quite a lot, and a lot of you who are watching will have done this job in real life as well, and probably looking at it going, what are you talking about, Frith? You don't, not quite. You kind of got the right idea, but you seem to have just, I don't know, it doesn't seem quite right, Frith. You're talking as though you've never really done very much of this. And you'd be right. I've never done very much raking. Not with a rake. The only actual raking that I've done with a rake has been turning straw. And when I used to work doing harvest work, and I'd go and I'd spend 2 months helping to bale up and stack and clear fields of straw. And I used to do that every year. And so I've done literally thousands of hours of handling bales and dealing with straw. And if it rained, then we would take a rake out and we would go up through and we would turn anywhere that had been, usually it was just a place that had been driven on. Anywhere that had been driven on, we would go up through with a rake and turn it over, and then it would be able to dry out, and then we could go through with the baler. And also, some combines, you have the, I think it was, I did talk about this ages ago, I think it was axial flow, and I believe it was Case that invented the axial flow, but basically it's like a giant corkscrew up through the middle of the combine, rather than just the ordinary straw walkers. And this is great because it could push the straw through faster, which is, it's fine and all, but it kind of mash the straw up a little bit, and it would leave the windrow a lot smaller than the standard windrow that you would be used to with the straw walkers. And the problem with that was that when you went through with the big square balers, certainly the older ones, I mean, I'm going back, how old am I? I'm 37, so we're going back about 20 years ago. And balers, the balers now, most balers these days, the big balers, you can run along with a small windrow, and you can keep the windrow entirely on one side of the pickup feed, and you will still have an even square bale that comes out the end. It didn't used to be like that, because it wasn't like a system inside the baler that would like spread the straw out and to deliver it properly. And so what you'd end up with is if you drove down the windrow right down the middle, you would end up with a banana-shaped bale, because all the straw would be on one side of the bale, and then it would sort of make it all wavy and curvy. So you'd have to count the beats of the ram sort of moving backwards and forwards. You do 3 on one side, and then switch over and do 3 on the other side of the feed, and it was really tedious, and nobody liked doing it, and you'd still end up with not very good bales anyway. So what we would usually do is any places that used an axial flow combine, we would take a rake and we would go and rake 2 rows into one. If you stuck 2 rows into one, then it would absolutely stuff the feed of the baler full, and you'd have no issues whatsoever. You'd be able to just go flying up across the field with the feed of the infeed of the baler completely stuffed full, and you'd have wonderful even bales. I mean, it's not the best thing to go and do because it's another pass across the field, and that costs money. You do have to sort of look at things like, well, yes, it's good, but a pass across the field is something that costs money. You've got to pay for the tractor to run, you've got to pay, for the fuel and everything for the tractor, as well as the person who's driving it, they've got to have wages paid and so on. So it's not the most economical thing to do. However, when you compare it to the bales, sometimes it's actually worth the expense. And so that's what we would do. And that's about the only raking that I've ever done. When it comes to hay and grass, and I'm not sure why I've got that on the floor. You look at that there. I don't know why I've got that visual there on the floor, like we've got grain tipped out there. Because we shouldn't have grain tipped out there. There shouldn't be anything resembling grain tipped out there on the floor at all. I've got absolutely no clue what that is. Anyway, let's go down the other end. I see Helper J. Now, Helper J was the John Deere combine. So we'll go and deal with that in just a sec. We'll just finish raking up this field, and then we can go and deal with that combine and get that one going. And I think we're going to be wrapping up the episode before we'll get the baler on and ready, and then we'll do the baling in our next episode. So yeah, for doing hay or grass or anything like that, I've never actually used one of these rakes on hay ever. Never used one. I've only ever done really small bale hay. I've done a little bit of big bale hay, just not very much, and I wasn't actually involved with the baling of it. I was more involved with collecting the bales, clearing the field and stuff like that. The small bale hay that I dealt with, I've done rowing up for that, but it wasn't using a rake like this. It was using an old hay bob. So it was much smaller scale, and you had much smaller rows, but it was for a small baler anyway, and small balers don't tend to like the vast quantity of hay that you put through all at once with a rake like this. So, yeah, not really done very much in the way of hay on this one, which is... It does surprise me, to be honest, because I have spent many, many hours using a rake. It's just, I've only ever really done it on... Well, I've only done it on straw. I've never used a rake on hay, ever. And... I mean, with the straw, it's not a lot different with the straw. It really isn't. Well, I don't imagine it isn't. Although, the one thing with the straw, the one thing that does separate it from a field of hay that's going to be raked up into rows, is that the straw is already in rows. You don't have to actually think for yourself at all when you're raking straw, because you follow the existing rows. There's no creativity involved. There's no deciding where am I going to go with it. It's purely just the ones that you've already got on there. Let me just unhitch this one, and we'll go to there and there like that. Switch you off. We'll have to get the baler on next time, I think. We want to go up this way. That one's doing a wonderful job, and we've got 2 passes around the outside now. Actually, no, we've got 3 passes around the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop this one a second. It may end up leaving a little tiny bit behind, but I think it's going to work out for the best. We'll do that, and we'll switch that over to normal, and then we'll carry back on. Press the right button. There. So we just have normal straight lines now, up and down. It might leave a tiny little bit down the other end when it goes to do the turn, but other than that, it should be fine. Up this way, I'm hoping it'll be alright going up this way as well. We'll see. We'll see how well our straight lines are when we get to the end of the field. Anyway. We can leave that one going. Oh, he's on his way back. Is he ready to take some from the combine? But, well, it said start travel at 50%. So, yes, he's ready to go straight into the combine now. I don't know if that one's going to stop. Oh, we're unloading on the go now because we've got standard hired help. I don't know if it would unload on the go if it was still with the AI vehicle extension. I got no idea. Oh, well. We're also on minus $19,000 because we're using Courseplay. It does get a bit expensive sometimes. Courseplay does tend to, I think, Courseplay and the AI vehicle extension do charge more for their for the hired help. Costs more to run them. Now bring this one over here. We've still got that tractor is still down the bottom, but he should be searching for the John Deere at all times anyway. So we can bring this one over here. And we can start it in on this corner. Just going to go straight in here. And like I said, we're going to do a couple rounds around the outside with this one with the AI vehicle extension. So we'll go there. And it's Control H for this, by the way. It's the keyboard command is Control H to bring this one up. And we will put that one onto there. And then we'll go into settings. And I turn this one up to 100% so that it goes on sharper corners. Sharper corners? Sharper corners. I mean sharper corners. Some of these I'm not really sure. Straight reverse is basically how it turns on the corners. You can have the other one reverse with curve, and it will reverse around the curve, which can be O-shaped turn. Basically comes out and then he swings out round. Generally, I'm not sure which is the optimal one, really. I generally leave that on a straight reverse. Collision check, I leave off. Wait during unload, I have on at the moment. Sometimes I don't have that one on. Sometimes I'll leave that one off, and then he will unload as he goes along. Right. All good to go on there. So let me start that one up. You come in there. And how big is this field? This is going to be the next question. Is how big is... there we go. Field detection. 7.6 hectares. That's not bad, actually. That is a reasonable sized field. That'll come in there. Oh, yeah, we missed it a little bit, right on that corner. Completely forgot about that. I meant to go back there when we were when we were planting the field, and then I obviously completely forgot about it. This one will carry on round here, and then hopefully that other John Deere will come back up to it. Where is that other John Deere? Let's ignore those for a second and we'll go straight to it. Here we go. It's all the way down here and still waiting. Waiting until fill level is reached. Yes, it's just the one course. As long as he's nearby, he can still search for the combine. So that's fine. You're coming up through here. I love the hat. I love that hat. Absolutely love that hat. That is brilliant. And right, well, everything else seems to be working all right, because the other John Deere is the other combine, the fence. That one is doing a wonderful job. It's going to head on down there until, well, it's probably not going to reach the other end, and so it'll have to be emptied out part way down. But the Challenger will come up and be able to cope with that just fine. So I want to go over here. Not you. Oh, actually, it was... No, it's not that one either. It's this one over here. We're going to use this Stara on the baler. This is the one that we're going to put on the baler. So we'll just bring this one in. Anyway, that's all I got time for today, so we will do the baling in tomorrow's episode. And if you've enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And please, if you would like a chance to win, this is your last chance, because by tomorrow's episode, I think I will have already announced the winners. If you want a chance to win the simulator bundle, which was on Fanatical, I'm running a competition at the moment. They have donated some keys so that you can win a simulator bundle. It was 7 different games. Go and look at the video. It's a simulator bundle giveaway or something like that. I can't remember exactly what I called it. It's been running over the weekend. You just got to go on, watch the video for instructions on how to enter. This is your last chance to be able to enter that video, that competition, because I will be drawing the results tomorrow. I'll be drawing the winners tomorrow. And so if you'd like a chance to win, then make sure you head over to that video and have a look. There are 7 simulator titles in there that are being given away as a single bundle. So go and have a look at that one. That's they've been provided free of charge by Fanatical. Now, I realize I do talk about Fanatical rather a lot these days, but quite frankly, they do have some absolutely fabulous deals. And yes, I do make a bit of money out of it, but at the same time, the deals that keep coming up from there are the kind of deals that I spend my time looking for when I'm looking for new games to buy, or just like fill out my gaming library a little bit. That's the kind of deals I look for. And I figure, well, if I like them, then I may as well recommend them to you guys as well, so that you can benefit from them. And so that's why I talk about them. I have put up rather a lot of videos about them in the last week or so, but that's because I've been running this huge event with loads of awesome bundles and stuff being given away, which is absolutely fantastic. However, that is drawing to a close. So they're going back to just the normal. Now, they used to be called, I think it was like Bundle All-Stars or something. This is what they do. They make bundles of games and then sell them cheap, and it's fantastic. So I'm planning to, sort of from here on in, I will do a video each week where I just highlight the various different bundles that they're doing and how much money you can save from them. 10-15 minutes just looking at the absolute best of them. But other than that, I'm not going to be making loads of extra videos, because a few people have voiced concerns that I'm starting to look a bit like a sales special or something. There's lots of these videos have been coming up, and it's starting to look a bit like well, basically I'm looking like a sellout, and I do agree, it is starting to look a bit like that, but I felt that it was sort of a special occasion for it. I'm not selling out. I'm not, well, I suppose technically I am, because, you know, actually I'm not selling out, because I don't know, I honestly, I don't know. If you use the links I supply, I get a small commission out of it. And when I say small, I mean I've earned like 20 quid in the last month out of this. And there's been a lot of you have been taking me up on these offers. So it's not, we're not talking vast sums of money, okay? I can disclose that I have earned some money, and I've told you there, £20 in the last month. So you sort of get an idea that most of this is, I am earning a little bit out of it, but this isn't going to be funding my retirement, okay? I can promise you that. It's not going to be funding a retirement of any kind in any way. It might fund a Chinese takeaway once a month. That would be about it, and it would have to be a fairly skimpy Chinese takeaway as well. So the main reason I wanted to do this was because I figured I like the idea of being able to recommend these all these different bundles and stuff, and I know that a lot of people that watch are on tight budgets. You know, I know what it's like being on a tight budget. I'm generally on a tight budget most of the time as well, and I know what it's like being on a tight budget. And so I always appreciate if somebody is able to just quickly show me a way to save a big pile of money. So I'm not saying go and buy these games regardless. I'm saying if you're looking for some games, take a look at these first, because there's a huge chunk of money off right now, and you could get these for just a few pounds. And that's sort of the thing that I like to do anyway. I like to sort of shop around and make sure I'm getting a good deal. And as far as I can tell, the games I'm recommending on here, you struggle to find them this cheap just about anywhere. I mean, I know generally, when games are beyond a year old, the usual policy is just wait until they're on sale. And even then, if you are waiting to buy it, if I happen to say, oh, by the way, this one's on sale, oh, I'm waiting for that game. So it's sort of almost a community service, which I am making money out of as well. But yeah, we'll ignore that bit. Okay, so yeah, fear not, I'm not turning into a complete sellout, and I'm not going to be spamming the channel with hundreds of these videos either. I'm going to be doing one a week on Thursdays. I figure Thursday is a good day because it's sort of just in time for the weekend, and I'm able to highlight deals that should be running across the weekend so that you can take advantage of them if you want to. But anyway, enough about that. I need to go, so until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.